90 feet broke through something. Why? You got an open space 90 feet below grade, right? There's a void down the well. You got to aim whether or not it is a tunnel, and the only way to learn that is to pull the core. Exactly matter. Get us some court time to find some treasure. As another season begins, the committed team searching for O Island's hidden treasures works without rest. Each new dig and drill brings up more artifacts, pulling them closer to solving the island's age-old mystery. This season has been particularly rich, with many finds lighting up pieces of history long buried under the earth. Each discovery seems like a step closer to the truth, but after all this, could this finally be the end of the search? Before we dive, embrace yourself. What they've unearthed is more shocking than anyone anticipated. Closer to the cache. Throughout this journey, the team has uncovered an array of astonishing relics. Some of these finds seem almost too good to be true, while others feel like something straight out of a legend. With every new item they dig up, they edge closer to their ultimate goal. But what exactly have they found so far, and how does each discovery advance their quest for treasure? They had no idea that the next find would turn everything they knew about Oak Island upside down. One of the most exciting discoveries in Season 11 occurred on Lot 5, a small area where the team uncovered a fragment of ceramic. This wasn't just any piece of pottery, but one with unique features that suggest a complex an old history. The team was exploring previously uncharted land when they found it, and the characteristics of the ceramic hinted something much deeper beneath the surface. This particular piece, with a purple glazed DM and a darker interior, may date back to a time long before the infamous money pit was even created. The team's ceramic expert was shocked by its age and possible origins. He suspects it may have come from Europe and could date as far back as the 1600s. This discovery raises a huge question: how early did people start exploring living on Oak Island? But the ceramic was only one of many clues during their digger. Circular stone formation. Gary, the metal detection expert, uncovered an old iron latch buried deep underground. This latch could have been part of a cellar or even a hidden trapo. Its presence suggests that whoever was on the island long ago may have intentionally modified the land. They could have been trying to hide something or keep it secure. As the team digs deep for, they start to wonder if the circular stone formation is actually a natural feature at all. Could it have been built by human hands to hide something valuable? With both the ceramic piece and the iron latch found so close together, this theory gains weight. Could this area have been some sort of hidden storage deliberately constructed to keep its contents a secret from curious eyes? To better understand what they're dealing with, the team sends the iron pieces to a lab for more analysis. A CT scan reveals that the artifacts were carefully made and had multiple uses. C. Armin Leo, blacksmith expert, examined the find and confirmed their age and potential function, dating them to before the 1840s. This only deepens the mystery. Who were these early visitors and what were they hiding? Meanwhile, the team's exploration continues at a site called the Garden Shaft. With high hopes, they dig deeper into the tunnels below. Working with the contracting crew, they carefully navigate the underground pathways that have stunk treasure hunters for years. However, water seeping into the tunnels presents a new challenge, requiring CR solutions to keep their path safe and stable. As they move forward, they begin to find signs of something massive underground. They come across a large void which they nickname Aladdin's Cave. This hollow area suggests there may be something precious hidden below, perhaps even gold. The presence of wooden structures also hints that humans have worked in this area before, possibly building secret chambers to hide their treasures. But this wasn't the most surprising part. As THE team investigates spore holes around the money pit, they turn to Dr. Ian Spooner and his colleagues for help. Using advanced techniques including fluorescence spectroscopy, they analyzed the soil for traces of metal and other materials. The results show that Oak Island's history is even more complicated than anyone thought. It seems people have been digging and possibly hiding things on the island for far longer than previously believed. As the team pushes forward, more artifacts come to light. Among them is a collection of old coins found near Lot 5. These coins, which appear to have been made by hand, look a lot like Roman coins that were found on the island in the past. This raises more questions. Could Oak Island's history be connected to multiple different cultures and time periods? Excitement filled the air as Riek quickly called his brother Marty to join him at the Oak Island dig site. They had already made an exciting find, and the day was just getting started. Early in their search on Lot 5, Rick stumbled upon yet another coin. This was now the third coin they had found, and the season had only just begun. The coin, like the others, looked like it had been crafted by hand. Its worn edges and the greenish-brown color showed that it was old, perhaps even older than the history of Oak Island itself. This find made the brothers wonder if it could be a key to understanding the larger mystery of the island. Eager to learn more, Rick and Marty took their growing collection of coins to Ed and Emma, the experts at the Interpretive Center. Using modern tools like XRF, which analyzes the elements and objects, and CT scanning, they hoped to uncover the origins of these mysterious coins. The results were fascinating. The first coin, made mostly of copper and silver, seemed different from Roman coins, which are typically made from tin and lead. This made the team think that while the coin was ancient. It was from a different time, more plaque than they had originally thought, but this wasn't the most puzzling part. When they looked at the second coin, they found something intriguing. A faint image of a woman seemed to be etched into its center. This coin was made of copper, tin, and silicone materials similar to Roman coins found on the island before. Could this be a sign that the Knights Templar or some other early visitors had brought this coin to Oakland? The third coin, however, left the team scratching their heads. It had a unique pattern of woven or chain-like links. A scan showed it was made from brass, copper, silver, and surprisingly iron and mangan. The inclusion of these materials suggested that the coin could be more modern than the others, throwing off their expectations. However, upon closer examination, Emma noticed high levels of calcium and phosphorus, elements often found in French in years from the 13th century. This was similar to the composition of a lead cross they had discovered early, sparking a new theory about the historical connections between these artifacts. But this wasn't the strangest. Could these coins point to trade or contact between different cultures like the Knights Templar and local populations on Oak Island? The team's curiosity grew as they thought about the possibilities. Were these coins evidence of long-ago exchanges between different groups? Feeling motivated by these discoveries, the team headed back to Lot 5 the next day, eager to find more. Craig Sharpie quickly picked out a small iron object that looked like it could be part of a map. They sent it off for analysis, hoping it might reveal more secrets. Then, under a pile of debris, they found yet another coin, the fourth of the season. This coin was in excellent condition, and its well-preserved surface made it easy to see that it was likely Roman. Like the other coins, it was handmade, and its aged surface told a story of many years gone by. These discoveries were thrilling, but they also made the team realize they had only scratched the surface. The team decided to shift their attention to the swamp area of Oak Island. In past seasons, they had uncovered many important artifacts near the dam. With limited access to the area, they turned to their remotely operated vehicle for an underwater look. Tony volunteered to dive in, eager to get a first-hand look. As Tony searched the murky waters, he made an exciting discovery: pieces of worked timber that matched details from Zena's map of the area. These wooden beams suggested human activity in the swamp, perhaps dating back centuries. But this wasn't all. Tony found more ceramic fragments and a clay sailor pipe, all lying near a large boulder. This led the team to wonder if the swamp had once been a hidden spot where items were secretly stored, untouched for years. But the biggest surprise came as Tony continued his search. During a sweep around the boulder, his metal detector buzzed with excitement. He uncovered a round coin-like object with a hole in the center. It looked a lot like ancient Chinese coins. This raised even more questions. Could the swamp have been a place of trade? Had a shipwreck occurred here? Or perhaps the indigenous people of Oak Island had a significant role in the history of this mysterious place. As we dive deeper, new clues emerged that might link the island's past and present. Secrets of the soil, the dam, and Oak Island, built centuries ago with simple tools and methods, may hold clues about the artifacts the team is uncovering today. Martina Lena, using a tractor, began clearing large rocks from a circular depression to set up an important excavation. As they dug deeper, Jamie found something surprising: a large piece of pottery, possibly the biggest ever discovered in that area. Buried in the wet earth, the team's expert identified the pottery as coarse earthenware, likely made in England or Pennsylvania in the late 1700s, around the 1770s. This find is older than some of the previous discoveries in this part of the island by about 20 years. The pottery could have belonged to the island's early settlers, or maybe someone found it later and buried it again for safekeeping. Although the find is exciting, figuring out exactly where it came from is tricky without more analysis. The team eagerly waits for the Interpretive Center's tests to learn more about its origins. As they continued excavating in the same circular area, Jack and Helen sifted through more dirt and debris. Helen was puzzled when she didn't find many nails, which would usually suggest a log cabin had once stood there. But soon Jack uncovered a nail that seemed to be from a framed building, hinting at more artifacts to come. Then Jamie came across a metal fastener unlike anything they had found before. It looked like a strap hinge from a door, and soon he found the rest of the fastener along with a large, unique nail. The rose-spiked head of the nail suggested it was handmade and could be from as early as the 1600s, predating even the infamous money pit. But this wasn't the only mystery. The team began to wonder if these artifacts could be connected to Oak Island's first treasure depositor, Sir William Phipps. Helen thought that the location of the finds might suggest they were near the site of a building, possibly even a windmill. As the team sent these items off for more testing, they grew more excited about what these pieces might reveal about the history of the site. Moving away from Lot 5, Rick and Gary picked up their metal detectors again. They were hoping to find more coins but instead came across a large metal strap. Gary guessed that the strap might have been decorative, possibly from a chest, and could be linked to the circular depression they had been exploring. Not long after, they found another large piece of iron, this one a thick, heavy fastener with a rosehead style. These discoveries deepened their theories about the area's past, suggesting that important structures could be buried nearby. But this wasn't the strangest part. The team couldn't figure out why such valuable iron artifacts would be left to rust and decay. In the past, iron was expensive, so it seemed odd that these items had been discarded. To get more answers, the team sent the pieces to Carmen Legg, a blacksmith expert. Carmen thought the large iron piece might have been a chisel used in mining or tunneling, possibly by the original builders or treasure depositors on the island. Carmen's examination of the B-shaped strap revealed that it likely decorated a chest or wooden box. This style was common among the French in earlier centuries. This discovery opened up new possibilities, suggesting that the French may have visited or used Oak Island before the English or even Sir William Phipps. This idea matches earlier findings by Zena Helper, who had studied maps of Oak Island in Nova Scotia with French writing on them dating back to the time of the Knights Templar. Meanwhile, over at the Money Pit, the team's drilling operation was in full swing. They were hoping to find hidden tunnels or structures, but at first, they only hit soil. However, things took a turn when they reached a depth of around 100 feet and started finding chunks of wood. This was a strong sign they were near a wooden structure, possibly a tunnel underneath the borehole. As they drilled further, more wood emerged, confirming the presence of an underground structure. The big question now was, where did this tunnel lead? Could it connect to the garden shaft or the baby blob? These new findings were exciting, but they also raised even more questions, pushing the team to keep searching. In unraveling Oak Island's secrets, with each layer uncovered, we move closer to revealing the island's hidden stories. The wooden path, researchers studying the wood fragments found near the garden shaft, have made some interesting discoveries about their origin. These fragments are from trees similar to ones found in nearby areas. One fragment, found about 105 feet below the surface on the eastern side of the garden shaft, marks an important first find from this location. As the team dug deeper, they came across more wood pieces at the same depth. But this time, these fragments were small, found in soil that had a darker, grayish tone. This change in color suggests that the exploration may have reached an underground passage. The drilling records add more intrigue to the story. They show that this area might be close to a long room, a treasure site near the garden shaft, which supports some of the team's earlier suspicions. The new evidence seems to point toward the idea that this passage wasn't created by more recent treasure hunters but was actually built by the original depositor. At a depth of 111 feet, the team found more wood fragments that were probably part of an old structure, possibly a floorboard or a ceiling that had decayed over time. These remnants are now part of the material being studied by the researchers. To explore further, the team decided to follow the path of the tunnels mapped out in earlier studies. They collected samples of the wood from different boreholes near the garden shaft and sent them to Emma at the Interpretive Center for further analysis. The goal was to see if the fragments were all from the same structure or if they pointed to other hidden constructions within the shaft. Emma's analysis revealed something quite surprising. The wood contained traces of potassium and aluminum, but there were no signs of precious metals like gold, silver, or tin. However, there was a trace of palladium, a rare element at this depth, which hinted at the possible presence of valuable metals nearby, such as gold or platinum. Palladium is often associated with refining gold, so this discovery suggested that the original depositors may have been treating and refining gold artifacts, like coins or other objects. But this wasn't the only curious finding. Emma also confirmed that the wood samples came from the same construction, leading the team to believe they were getting closer to finding the tunnel that could lead them to the treasure. Meanwhile, about 100 yards away from Lot 5, Rick and Gary were expanding their search around a circular depression that was littered with debris from past human activity. Gary had a hunch that these spots might contain metals, and he was right. The team marked several promising locations with flags after finding artifacts that dated back to the 17th century or even earlier. These finds suggested that humans had been active in this area long ago and that their activities might have been historically significant. But the surprises didn't stop there. In a stone structure that was believed to have been built by Robert Young, the team found a small, round metal object. After further study, they realized it was a small caliber shot, possibly from the 1700s, which suggested that there might have been military action on the island at some point. This discovery tied in with historical records from the Duc d'Anville's naval mission, which pointed to Oak Island as a possible hiding place for French naval treasures around 1746. Moments later, the team's metal detector beeped again, leading them to another find just a few feet away. At first, they thought they had found a shell casing, but after consulting with local archaeologists, they learned that the object was likely a piece of military equipment, possibly a gun sight. As the team continued to study these artifacts, the Interpretive Center made another exciting discovery. They found that the first object was actually a round rod guide from a musket. This tool, used for loading ammunition, was an innovation from the early 16th century. Interestingly, the guide had Roman numerals carved into it, which was unusual for that time. This suggested it could have been from an even older period or had a specific specialized use. But the most surprising detail came later. A CT scan of the guide revealed even more intricate markings, including a hole and an inscription. This inscription was similar to structural elements found in Smith's Cove, suggesting a possible link between the finds at the Garden Shaft and broader historical activities on Oak Island. This connection could point to